hide from me, all right? It's not going to help you out. Don't try and hide. I already know. You can't keep things from me. I already know that you guys, or some of you, I should say, have been having a little bit too much fun in the sun. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But here you are with your tail between your legs going, what's a good after sun product? You're in the right video because that is exactly what we're going to tackle today. And before you in the third row, before you click out going, I have melanin rich skin, I don't burn, this video obviously is not for me, it's just going to be a bunch of aloe vera, this, that, and the other. And no. We're also going to be talking about how to go about addressing the post-sun dark marks, the discoloration, which can linger for some time. Whether you got a full-blown in the house of pain, blistering up like a shishito, sunburn, or your skin is just dry, dull, maybe a little sensitive, or you've got significant discoloration related to sun exposure. Ultraviolet radiation, without a doubt, it does a number on your skin. It suppresses your skin's immune system, delaying its ability to heal and recover from the damage that happened. It directly damages DNA in your skin. That's ultimately what leads to setting the stage for skin cancers later on in life in some cases. It also brings in a lot of inflammation, which can result in a lot of the symptoms of discomfort, swelling, and pain that people experience who have a sunburn. And it also leads to upregulation of pigment production, melanin, because melanin is like a little umbrella that protects the DNA in an effort to protect the body from that onslaught of UV damaging the DNA. It attempts to make more pigment, and that can lead to uneven skin tone, discoloration, particularly in people who have deeper skin tones. Ultraviolet radiation also compromises the integrity of our skin barrier, which lends itself to an increase in transepidermal water loss, dryness, and heightened sensitivity. More stuff gets into the skin, and therefore you might experience things like burning, stinging. Now, it's not uncommon for people's skin to quote unquote clear up and be the best they've ever had when they are enjoying a lot of sun, only to have it backfire after they stop being out in the sun. And it's not because the sun is necessarily healing, it's because the sun is immunosuppressive. So yeah, it definitely can help clear some things up temporarily, but all of the inflammation that ensues can end up leading to, well, worsening of skin problems like acne. Because when you get a lot of sun exposure, your skin has a tendency towards dryness. It doesn't quite turn over as efficiently. You can get a buildup of dry, rough skin texture. But if you have a full-blown sunburn, the barrier is down. You are acutely wounded. Definitely not a good time to be using heavily scented lotions, moisturizers, because they are a lot more likely in this setting to cause problems for you, such as irritation, and for you to develop sensitivities to these ingredients and subsequent allergies. Not a time to be getting any kind of mechanical exfoliant. It's the time to maybe pause, if you have a sunburn, chemical exfoliants. What you want to lean into in this situation, whether it be you just got a little bit too much sun, you're feeling a little dry, dull, and sensitive, or again, a full-blown sunburn, is just a boring, bland moisturizer. Now, a lot of people wonder about, is aloe vera good here? There are compounds in aloe vera that are particularly helpful for a sunburn, but I don't recommend going straight to the plant, cutting it open, and smearing it on a sunburn, because there are other things in the plant that can be actually particularly irritating, especially applied directly to a sunburn. But extracts from the aloe plant are utilized in skincare and can have soothing properties for a burn or overly exposed skin, we'll say. Moisturizers, however, that are very heavy, they can slow down the evaporation of sweat, and that can make you feel a little overheated. And again, your skin is not quite doing what it's supposed to do as far as the thermoregulatory thing, so that for some people can be really uncomfortable. So I suggest choosing lightweight lotions, hydrating gels that not only will allow for better evaporation of sweat, but they have a cooling sensation, which a positive is that can help to calm down some of the discomfort if you do have a sunburn. So two I'm going to recommend. One from Aveeno. It is their Calm and Restore Oat Gel Body Moisturizer. It has shea butter. It has colloidal oat. Now, colloidal oat is particularly helpful for sunburn. It's very soothing. It's very hydrating. It's used a lot, for example, in eczema care. Wonderful ingredient. A lot of people, when they get a sunburn, I do suggest a colloidal oatmeal bath, for example. But colloidal oatmeal as an ingredient in a skincare product, a moisturizer to help replenish hydration and protect that wounded skin, is a great ingredient. ingredient. Also has aloe in it as well, so the hydrating and soothing anti-inflammatory compounds from aloe can really help out in this scenario quite a bit. Then I've mentioned this one before. It's the Cetaphil Soothing Gel Cream with aloe. It's actually very similar to the Aveeno one. It comes in a jar, so it's just a matter of personal preference, but they're both excellent. Now the Cetaphil one, you'll notice, has allantoin called out separate from the rest of the ingredients because the way it's formulated in this product, it is actually a approved skin protectant. So it's really actually a great option to protect the skin, especially if you've gotten a sunburn, from irritating stuff getting in and from further evaporative water losses. Speaking of a sunburn and impaired barrier function, you do want to make sure you are staying hydrated if you did get a sunburn, because you are more inclined to lose water, to suffer dehydration, which is not a good thing. Now, the next product is not necessarily a must-have, but it's a we must discuss and can definitely play a role in post-sun exposure skincare, and that is Differin Gel. Yes, adapalene 0.1%, which is a over-the-counter FDA-approved acne treatment that is a retinoid. Not just adapalene, but any prescription retinoid that you might be using to treat a skin condition. There's a lot of confusion online about using retinoids in the sunnier times of the year. People are under the impression that they increase the risk that they will get a sunburn. They don't. And for that reason, in the sunnier months, you don't have to stop using these. They're not contraindicated. Of course, you need to be protecting your skin from the sun, but they don't make you more inclined to burn. However, if you do get a sunburn, I don't suggest putting your adapalene on the sunburn. Allow the sunburn to heal fully before resuming a topical retinoid like adapalene. But speaking of resuming, a shout out for adapalene for a few reasons in the post-sun care game is that, yeah, it's an FDA-approved acne treatment, but it's also got anti-inflammatory properties, and it can help suppress some of the processes that lead to upregulation of those collagen-destroying enzymes, and it also helps to suppress some of that abnormal pigmentation. So if you got a lot of sun exposure and you didn't burn, keep using your topical retinoid. And if you are someone especially whose skin is inclined to heal with discoloration after a day of sun exposure, adapalene or whatever prescription retinoid, if it's a prescription that you're using, can actually end up helping you out tremendously for lessening, I would say, the overall extent of dark discoloration and for hastening the clearance of that. You see, when it comes to dark marks, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from sun exposure, where the mark is maybe a couple of shades darker than your background skin color, usually, unfortunately, that takes like 6 to 12 months to fade, depending on the location of the body is another big factor. But your topical retinoids can definitely be helpful here for hastening the clearance of those dark marks. As a matter of fact, if you see a dermatologist for any type of persistent stubborn dark mark like this, in many cases they're going to prescribe you a medication to apply that contains a topical retinoid. That topical retinoid is paired in that prescription with hydroquinone, which is the gold standard for treating hyperpigmentation, and it also contains a mild anti-inflammatory steroid. And those three together really work to kind of address multiple angles of hyperpigmentation, but the retinoid piece of things alone is definitely something that can hasten the clearance of those dark marks. You do need to be careful though introducing a retinoid because they can be a little irritating in the beginning, and that irritation actually can lead to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation itself, so it's a bit of a delicate balance. However, it can really be very helpful for clearing up those dark marks and for lessening the overall extent of them. I want to mention with regards to sunburn, a must-have is ibuprofen, provided it's safe for you to take it, like you're not allergic to it. Ibuprofen is what's called a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and after you've gotten a sunburn, if you take it within 6 hours of sun exposure or when you know you're burnt, it can actually help tremendously cut down on the overall discomfort by reducing that inflammation. You see, your body has a brisk reaction to all that death and destruction. That brings in a lot of swelling, discomfort, and redness. Ibuprofen taken after sun that has caused a sunburn sunburn can really help your symptoms overall. Also in that situation, cool compresses, cool baths, cool showers, just the cool temperature can really help. I mentioned earlier the 2 moisturizer suggestions. If you put those in the refrigerator and get them nice and cold and apply them to the sunburn chilled, that also will, of course, help replenish moisture, help reduce water loss, help protect the skin, but it'll just feel really nice. All right, recommendation number 4 is for those of you who have gotten a sunburn to the extent that you have developed blisters. This is a 2nd degree burn, really bad, and the last thing you want to do is pop a blister. The roof of a blister is actually a natural dressing, a natural bandage to the damaged, wounded, raw skin underneath. And yes, it does accumulate that clear, colorless fluid, but don't pop or manipulate or pick at a blister. Now, the blister itself will inevitably deflate, leak out that fluid, and you'll be left with this floppy little roof. Don't pick that off or peel that off. Drape it back in place. And this is what you're going to put on a blister. You're going to put, you already know from me, you're going to put plain petroleum jelly, 100% petroleum jelly. You could use Vaseline brand, or the Dollar Tree sells one. Put that on a blister. As a matter of fact, start putting it on the blister when the roof is still intact, and then once it deflates, take that little flap gently, put it back over the skin as much as you can to make sure it's covering as much of the underlying raw skin as possible, and kind of glue it in place with petroleum jelly. Really will help you out tremendously. Sometimes I get blisters related to shoes on my feet, with running shoes, for example, and I swear petroleum jelly is the best thing for those blisters. Aside from the blisters though, petroleum jelly is very occlusive, so I don't suggest putting it all over a sunburn. It will be very uncomfortable for you, but to the blisters, that is definitely a game changer. But whatever you do, don't pick the blisters or try and pop them, because it can slow down healing, be very uncomfortable, and you do risk an infection. Okay, and then last but not least is for those of you, again, whose skin tends to develop discoloration, and that is to choose a sunscreen that has a tint. Look for the ingredients, specifically iron oxides. Iron oxides in tinted sunscreens, they actually help protect not from ultraviolet radiation from the sun, which is, what's responsible for all the death and destruction, but from visible light. And if you have a deeper skin tone, the visible light from the sun, the blue light specifically, it actually is a big driver for the discoloration. So by protecting from the visible light, and then with the sunscreen itself, not just the tint, but the actual active sunscreen ingredients protecting you against the ultraviolet radiation, those 2 protective pieces of that product will really help you out tremendously in fading the hyperpigmentation. But even better than a tinted sunscreen is if you can just keep the area covered with like a sun protective article of clothing. Like, for example, if it's on your arm, wearing a long sleeve, just that keeps it completely out of sunlight will really help you out a lot. Now, if you got a burn, your skin can't handle any more sun exposure. But for these other things where you didn't get a full-blown burn, but you did, get a little bit too much, it's left you sensitive, it's left your skin dry, dull, with discoloration, it's not too late to wear the sunscreen, because any additional UV, you got to be real mindful of that your skin's defenses are down, because that initial UV onslaught, it eats up quite a bit your baseline antioxidant reservoirs in the skin. And so you don't really have that manpower in there to handle any more UV. And so sunscreen is a must. But if you are dealing with a sunburn, it is imperative that you stay out of the sun. If you have to go outdoors during daylight hours, as most people do, make sure you're wearing sun protective clothing, a hat. I mean, you really need to be very aggressive with the sun protection. And this is where a lot of people, unfortunately, make big mistakes. And that often coincides with time at the beach on vacation or in a sunny destination. Because maybe it's the first day of their vacation, they overdo it with the sun, they get a really bad sunburn, and then they're like, well, I'm here, I'm still going to enjoy myself. And they continue to go out on the beach in a bathing suit. And you're like, most people go on the beach in a bathing suit. Yeah, but when you have a sunburn and you're out there in a bathing suit, that's really bad for your skin at that point. So I do suggest covering up. That's why prevention. But those are my top 5 suggestions for after sun care. Now, if you go in the store or you go searching online for the best after sun products, here's what Google and the powers that be are going to show you. They're going to show you a series of products that are all more or less the same. After sun products typically are gels that are vibrantly blue colored and great. You know, a gel can be very soothing on a sunburn, but they often have fragrance, which, like I said, is not a great thing to be putting on a sunburn. Some of them have topical anesthetics, which you can actually become allergic to, so I don't suggest those either. The best thing is just a bland, lightweight, hydrating, fragrance-free moisturizer. All right, y'all, that's what I wanted to talk about with regards to after sun care. I hope this video was helpful, informative for you guys. Now, you may be curious about the dietary supplement polypodium. Can that help offset sunburn? So on the end slate is a video that you need to watch next because we talk about exactly that issue. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.